every portfolio, there's a story of goals, fears, dreams, and decisions made over time. And yet, many investors approach diversification as a technical checklist, not a personal process. In this episode of Nivesh Pe Charcha, the diversification playbook, we explore why diversification starts with knowing what you're choosing. We're joined by Binoli Jain, co-founder and CEO of the Money Mart, a firm that seeks to simplify financial decision making through education, transparency, and time-tested frameworks. With over 2 decades in the capital markets and a practice that blends finance with emotional clarity, Binoli specializes in helping people think more deeply about their choices, not just across equity, debt, or gold, but across life stages, values, and intent. She refers to herself as a firm's chief emotions officer. And in this conversation, she brings that lens to how investors can approach asset allocation more mindfully. So let's begin. Hello and welcome to Grow AMC. And today we're going to talk about why diversification starts with knowing what you're choosing. And for that, we have Ms. Binoli Jain joining us to take the conversation forward. Binoli, hi and welcome on board.
Hi, Karunya.
First things first, you often speak about financial well-being and emotional clarity. Where does portfolio construction begin in that context?
So, actually, portfolio construction begins only with emotional clarity. See, building portfolios on financial planning is not actually about spreadsheets and numbers. It's also because, it's like how your portfolio makes you feel. Just imagine you have a well made portfolio with all the numbers and the formulas in place. But if that's giving you sleepless nights and your blood pressure is increasing because of market turbulence, then, it's not an emotional well being. So, both of these actually go hand in hand and it cannot be separate from one another.
Okay, all right. If we look at equity, debt, and gold, each asset feels different, not just in terms of returns, but also in what it brings to an investor's journey. So, how do you see them in these different kinds of roles that they play?
So I think every investment that you do, okay, has to start with a purpose. Okay. It's like when you get out of your house, okay, you're going for a holiday, you have a map, where are you supposed to go? And accordingly, you choose your mode of transport. So equity, debt, and gold are again those mode of transports in your portfolio. So if you're looking for long-term returns, you're looking for a product that can beat inflation, that can grow with the economy growth, then equity is your go-to product. But yes, equity comes with its hiccups and lots of ups and downs, and so it is an ideal product for long-term returns. Okay, but not always we have to take the longer journey, and we want to go to something which is closer by. So that's when debt comes into play. So debt is a asset class which gives you regular income. So all for your shorter term requirements and goals and money which you can't put to risk, it has to be into debt. And I think the most important part over here is gold. So whenever there are issues with the economy, currently, whatever is happening with the global markets, which is the asset class gold. So it's a good mix to have diversification to your portfolio. So every time anybody is investing, pick up these asset classes basis your map. Where do you want to reach? What is your end goal? And then pick up the required asset class for that goal.
But do you feel that investors often attach emotion to one asset class more than the others? Like you were talking about, gold also just now. How do you see them, or rather, how do you help them see the full picture?
Yeah. So I think we started this conversation with emotions and finance because they are very much interlinked, and eventually we all are humans. So emotions are always attached in all our investments. So it's one thing is emotions, one thing is also recency bias. So it's like this in a market where equity is doing very good, everybody wants to do equity. Market when gold is doing very good, everybody wants to do gold. So A, it is emotions, B, it is also recency bias that what is it that did well, today. That's what I want to do. So these always go hand in hand. So it's like, very difficult to convince somebody who's made a lot of money into, say, real estate to move into a different asset class, or somebody who's lost money into stocks, to convince them that, okay, that, equity is a product for the longer term, but, maybe it did not work for you because you played equity for the shorter term. So, that's how it is.
Okay. But when it comes to real world investing, what typically gets in the way of using multiple asset classes meaningfully? What do you think?
So, a couple of things get into the way. See, first of all, investing technically should be very boring. Okay, you find some products, you make a plan, and you stick to it. Okay, if you keep moving from one place to another, you really don't make returns. Okay, So just imagine I have a plan in place where I have decided, let's say, for example, 65% of my assets are into equity, 15% is into gold, and the rest is into debt. Then all I have to do is I have to follow that path year on year on year, and just keep rebalancing. Okay, that is what is actually multi asset allocation. But there is no thrill in this, right? I have nothing to talk about with people about this. There is no money going in and out. So it's very boring. And this boredom is what, stops people from actually following this multi-asset allocation path, because, it's very easy to say this, but what happens in this journey, some asset class will spike up, some asset class will fall a lot. And so, we are basically, prompted from our mind and our heart that I need to increase, allocation in some asset class. So this is one thing. Second thing, rebalancing, as I told you, okay, it's easy to do, but not for everybody, because you have to take that effort, jot down what are your assets, how much money is there in each asset class, and do that shuffling every year if you are trying to build a multi-asset fund yourself. And so A, it is boring, and B, it is has a practical, there is something you need to do to rebalance. So this doesn't come so easily to everybody. And so that is why even if somebody starts with a proper asset allocation in place, it's seldom see that 5 years down the line that asset allocation is intact. It's always skewed towards some asset class.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in that context, how do you see a multi asset allocation fund supporting somebody who wants a thoughtful exposure, but without the pressure of managing everything manually?
I think it is one fund where, which does everything for an investor. And we have multi-asset allocation funds investing only in debt, equity, gold. We have funds investing into debt, equity, gold, REITs, international equity. As an investor, he may not be aware of which asset class to move, which asset class to have additional exposure. And also, if I'm aware, every time I do those changes myself, there is a big tax outgo. But if this is done with the structure of the fund, A, I save taxes, and B, at least the movement will happen because I don't have to take that effort to do it by myself.
Great, Binoli. It was great chatting with you, and thanks for helping us understand why it's so important, the decisions you make, what you choose, and then how you diversify. So thank you so much for taking time out and for sharing your valuable insights with us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Karan.
As Binoli Jain shared, real diversification doesn't start with a spreadsheet. It starts with self-awareness. Equity, debt, gold. Each asset carries a different meaning in the context of your life and your goals. The process isn't just about combining instruments, but about understanding what each one seeks to contribute to your journey. That's where the Grow Multi-Asset Allocation Fund comes in. It seeks to invest across equity, debt, and commodities like gold and silver, all within one portfolio. The fund aims to offer investors a structured way to stay diversified without the need to actively manage each allocation over time. The NFO is open from 10 September to 24th September. Please consult your financial advisor before investing and read all scheme-related documents carefully, because knowing what you're choosing and why is where real investing begins.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.